My name is Becky Lefevre. I am a resident of Lansdowne. I have a few things to say in regards to anti-Semitism in Lansdowne. First, Jewish people are not a monolith. We exist everywhere as a beautiful tapestry of beliefs, practices, traditions, and peoples bound together by our shared and sacred history. For me, above all else, being Jewish means honoring and embodying the values of pursuing justice, working to repair the world, and treating all people with dignity. I do not hold the belief that my ability to safely and freely do these things hinges on the existence of a Jewish state. I do not personally recognize the state of Israel as an inherent representation of me, of Judaism, or of the Jewish diaspora. I do not feel welcome or safe entering any space that defines my Jewish identity by a support for Israel or the horrors that it commits. I am aware this is a sensitive subject and acknowledge there are Jewish people who hold a variety of opinions on this. As I said, we are not a monolith. As an American citizen, I maintain my right to freely speak and express my religion as I wish. It is Mr. Hover's right as well, in his capacity as a private citizen, to proudly support the state of Israel as an expression of his Jewish beliefs. However, it is unquestionably an abuse of power for councilperson Hover to force those religious beliefs on others, which is exactly what he has made a habit of doing over the last year. It is not anti-Semitic for any person, Jewish or otherwise, to ask if a public celebration co-sponsored by a councilperson in collaboration with exclusively pro-Israel organizations will display Israeli iconography or propaganda. In the economic development meeting last week, Councilperson Hover openly disrespected and dehumanized me through a deliberate erasure of my Jewish identity and a malicious reframing of my concerns about personal safety as anti-Semitism. He later used that disgusting lie as cause to advance borough approval and dissemination of ADL flyers that definitively conflate any criticism of or opposition to the state of Israel with a hatred for Jewish people. We heard it again this evening. It was at a Shabbat for ceasefire in a neighbor's backyard where I first found Jewish home and community in Lansdowne. So I know that I am not alone when I say that Councilperson Hover's words and actions are offensive, divisive, and incredibly harmful. Councilperson Hover's preferred definition of anti-Semitism denies Jewish residents like me the right to fully and freely exist. I beg of council to put an immediate and permanent end to Council Hover's campaign to personally define Judaism for our community. Lastly, Councilperson Hover, since you refuse to acknowledge me, let alone respond to my comments about your action last week, I am asking you once again tonight and publicly to apologize and retract your lies. In order to lead with love, you must set aside your personal biases about any of your personal opinions and uphold your duty as an elected official to respectfully and genuinely engage with the full breadth of diverse voices that coexist in our beautiful community. Thank you.
So, I mean, it's up to Mr. Hover if he wants to respond, but he's not required to do so.
Respectfully, my response is that my duty as a council member to Lansdowne is to all of the members of Lansdowne, and by the definitions that we have in the state of Pennsylvania and in the United States, that the recognition of discrimination. There was an oath that we heard tonight that you cannot discriminate based upon national origin or ancestry, that there is a state of Israel. The state of Israel exists. The state of Israel maintains half the world's Jewish population, and the denial of the state of Israel has been defined repeatedly as being a form of anti-Semitism by numerous institutions. That's my response, and I will continue to pursue that we follow the law for all residents and citizens in Lansdowne.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments in the room? Yes. That's all. Yeah.
Jennifer, half 72 in there. As a Jewish citizen of Lansdowne, I'm commenting on Mr. Hover's comment on the anti-Semitism programming he is planning. First, I would like to understand what committee Mr. Hover is doing this. borough programming under, or is this another private process on Judaism? If we're looking at anti-Semitism, is Mr. Hubbard willing to look at many definitions from many organizations? Second, will we also be reviewing various definitions of racism, because that is a much larger issue in Lansdowne, as we all know. But we expend the same energy comparing racism as anti-Semitism. Lastly, will Mr. Hubbard, this is the second or third meeting I've requested this, engage other Jewish citizens in this effort, or is this issue just under the purview of Mr. Hubbard and Lansdowne Borough Council?
Yeah, so just to answer your question, the event was not a borough sponsored event or sponsored through council. It was sponsored. It was an individual.
Right.
Yeah.
In all fairness, it's been mentioned in public meetings by Mr. Hubbard multiple times where there are no other private events mentioned. But what I was asking about tonight was Mr. Hubbard stating that he's gonna look into ADL and anti-Semitism. And I wanna know what committee that's being done under.
Chris Curry, if I may.
Mhm.
In the context of the discussion of the Hanukkah event, which I plan to bring up in public comment tonight, as well as the menorah event, it was in context of the same discussion of the winter parade with the LBPA and the Christmas tree lighting and other holidays, which there was no discussion, there was no intrusion, and I will go back to the point that I made before that a particular viewpoint is being politicized in Lansdowne. We had wonderful press on the fact that this is the first time that there was a menorah lighting in Lansdowne and the first Hanukkah event that there is. By all means, any individual who wishes to, I did not have any Lansdowne resident send any email or request to take part in it. In the thank you that I'm going to give during the public comment, I will discuss the individuals who did take part in the committee and who did volunteer to sponsor the event. So I'm more than willing to have conversations with anybody. But I do think that we have a public obligation still when there has been a particular viewpoint espoused in the community that is one that is egregiously problematic for many citizens. That viewpoint, it follows the law. That, as I stated last year, that individuals in the community are allowed to have bias, prejudiced viewpoints. They're allowed to espouse bias and prejudiced viewpoints. We cannot govern from them. I plan to continue to govern from the law.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any other time?
No, the committee that this is being done under,
It
please.
will be in economic development and planning, and I believe in public safety as well.
Man,
It is economic development and planning. It falls under the Department of Economic Development in the state. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so I think we'll be having some conversations with the solicitor regarding that matter, but, and so I really don't have an answer right now. So, but we'll definitely let you know and keep you posted.